Liam and Harper tied the knot 4 years back. Their paths crossed at a birthday bash for a mutual acquaintance, and they quickly clicked, sharing a rapport almost instantaneously. After several months of dating, Liam proposed that Harper move into his apartment, and she eagerly left her parents' home. A mere 6 months later, he popped the big question. With Harper dreaming of an extravagant wedding, they ended up taking out a loan to fund the festivity. However, they managed to repay a significant chunk of that debt thanks to the gift money they received. Once the extravagant wedding checkbox was ticked off her list, she swiftly turned her attention to the next item, renovating their quaint, older apartment. Liam, following his wife's directives, attempted to spruce up their space bit by bit, making minor improvements here and there, but nothing too drastic or involving a total overhaul and the selection of new wallpaper. A comprehensive renovation would have come with a hefty price tag, and funds were tight at that moment. Not wanting to resort to another loan, she decided to try a different approach. Every few days, she would remind him, "Liam, you're a talented pro. You're capable of pulling in some serious cash with your skills. Yet here you are, slaving away for peanuts at this company. Why not look for something better? That way, we could finally tackle those renovations properly and enjoy a proper vacation, not just once every 5 years," she expressed, frustration seeping into her tone. Her husband had been discussing promotion with his superiors for a long time, but they were leading him by the nose, and since he was not used to being used, he saw no reason to hurry. He understood his wife's message, but was not inclined to rush into anything until he received tempting offers. After another such conversation, and the sluggish reaction of the husband, the wife was offended. She became silent and distant, even cooking dinner as if she was doing him a favor. Around the same time, she began to stay late at work sometimes. When her husband asked her about it, she sarcastically replied that she earns money for repairs. However, her husband did not quite believe her. His wife mostly spent her salary on herself and continued to do so. Every day these delays became more and more suspicious. One day, Liam accidentally went to the store next to his wife's office on business. When he went out to smoke, he noticed a familiar face. "Ethan, what brings you here?" my husband inquired as he walked up to his longtime pal. "I've taken up a post as a security officer," Ethan responded, gesturing with pride towards the office complex. The timing of the coincidence couldn't have been more opportune. He confided in his buddy about his lingering doubts concerning his wife and requested to view the footage from the surveillance cameras. Upon reviewing the tapes, it became evident that Harper left the premises each day without fail. During the scrutiny over the last few days, Liam noticed that in one clip, she exited the building while engaging in a lively conversation with a certain man. Following this interaction, she hopped into a taxi, and the gentleman drove off in his own vehicle. "Who's that guy in the suit?" Liam inquired, his tone dripping with gloom. "That's our firm's big boss," his friend responded. "So, where was she heading in that taxi?" The husband mused aloud. Maybe they met up elsewhere for a more intimate rendezvous and split into different rides to keep their little secret under wraps from the other staff. These were merely conjectures that now required investigation. Liam delved into the records from earlier days and discovered a pattern. His wife was consistently heading out at certain times each week. Determined to get to the bottom of it, he resolved to follow her movements. One day, Liam decided to postpone work for reasons related to his beloved family. Then he rented a car and patiently waited for his wife's arrival in the evening near his workplace. As planned, Harper originated in the office. This time, she refrained from any conversation, and a minute later her boss followed her. Although they didn't exchange a single word, Harper looked pointedly at her boss and smiled before getting into a taxi. This moment knocked Liam out of his rut, but he realized that he was on the right track and would soon find out the truth. The taxi driver took the designated route and set off. However, instead of heading to their destination, Liam decided to follow them. About 15 minutes later, the wife got out of the car at the entrance to the luxury hotel and waited patiently there until her boss himself arrived shortly after and escorted her to the hotel. As the couple approached the reception desk and received the keys, the husband darted into the building and called out to his wife. At first, she attempted to feign ignorance, but Liam swiftly approached and forcefully turned her towards him. Her complexion turned pale, and her husband interrogated her about what she had left behind in the hotel with that man. Demanding an answer, he shouted in anger. Meanwhile, the wife stood frozen, bewildered. Liam intervened, stating, "We have a meeting with our partners here. We were just about to leave." She spoke in a flustered manner, but the room key in her hand and her superior contradicted her statement. "But seriously, what's going on?" hissed her husband. He had the impulse to strike her, but managed to restrain himself just in time. It's impossible to gauge one's strength when consumed by such fury. "You can't rush home after your meeting. I'll bring your belongings to your parents," he declared, glaring at his boss, and exited the hotel. As he made his way back home, he pondered how to articulate the purpose of his sudden visit to his in-laws. He needed to explain to them that their daughter had advocated for herself, seeking a pay raise or perhaps an additional bonus, yet he was unsure whether she had succeeded or not. The memory of his mother-in-law, whose insatiable curiosity compelled her to pry into every detail of their married life, resurfaced in his mind. She would inquire about the sufficiency of their income, when the repairs to their home would be completed, and why her son-in-law seemed disinterested in hastening these renovations. Consequently, Liam concluded that it was only fair to keep his mother-in-law abreast of their current circumstances, due to her persistent curiosity. He packed up all of his wife's belongings, paying a visit to her parents to relay the unabridged truth and offer his congratulations on their imminent family reunion. Departing from his stunned in-laws, he proceeded to initiate divorce proceedings. After the commotion, Liam found it necessary to change something. Disappointed by the repeated refusal of a salary increase, he decided to quit his previous job and quickly moved to another company that rewarded his efforts more generously. Meanwhile, Harper continued to work at her current workplace. However, soon after, a young colleague appeared who caught the boss's attention. As a result, Harper's attitude has become more cold and demanding. Eventually, due to another costly mistake, she was fired, causing her plans to live with her boss to collapse. As a result, she was forced to return to her parents' house.